Episode 57 of two FMA-Nerds Talk About Stuff. So I brought Mike Dzicek back on. You can catch his previous episode 25 on Spotify and YouTube. That was more of a get to know the dude and hang out. But today's episode is focusing on some of his other attributes. Mike, if you don't know, is a writer, he's a musician, he's a director, he's also a pretty awesome stunt coordinator and stunt actor. So today's episode is talking about a film project he's trying to get funded and doing a call of actors, and that's in pre-production. So of course in the movies we've seen a lot of kung fu flicks, seen karate, we've seen Muay Thai, we've seen a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but FMA, I mean, for people who don't know, well, now you know, FMA's been in the films for decades. It just hasn't been like at the forefront of this is an FMA-er, this is an FMA film, and we're featuring FMA in of itself. Of course, with Dune, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the Bourne Identity series, you've seen FMA in there as a feature, but it's not like the specific, this is FMA for FMA-ers, FMA film. So with the case of Mike, that's what he's trying to do. So it's great. Let him tell his story. But again, I love stunt people. Stunt people are fun. They're excited. And they bring this awesome energy to the space that is our beloved FMA community. So enjoy the episode. Like and subscribe. Do all the things for marketing because I'm awful at it. And in the meantime, enjoy the episode. See ya. What's up, Mike?
How's it going? How you doing?
Not bad, bro.
Right.
It's just so this is a standalone episode. Go ahead and introduce yourself just a little bit, and then we'll just jump in what we're talking about today.
Sure. So my name is Mike. My last name I know is an interesting one, Dzicek. So Polish, it's pronounced Dzicek. So the DZ makes a G noise, the C makes a TZ noise. So if anybody pronounces it wrong, that's okay. That's my childhood. So it's all good. Dzicek. But yeah, I've been doing FMA for, I think we're pushing 21 years now. My teacher, to give some kind of background, my teacher was one of GT Leo's original students back in the 70s. So I was one of the original kind of core group from New York City. And that was back in the day when they were kind of networking with the Cayetes. And then you had Eddie Joffrey at the Silat. And then he worked a lot with GT's uncle, Nene Tortal. So about late 80s, early 90s, Leo was approaching Greg, because Greg was kind of doing things a bit differently. All the different, original guys kind of did their own thing in their own way. But Greg definitely, who was, going to the Philippines and working with Dos Epates and the Cayetes and stuff, Greg was really kind of meshing this and kind of making his own expression. And that's where my style, Sina Tertiwali, comes from. It was kind of a conglomerate of Greg's expression of the foundation of the old school Dos Epates PTK, and then everything else. And so, but it kind of became his own thing. And so, so I met Greg, I was 15, 16, I'm 36 now. And the rest is history, man. I've been doing it ever since. Got certified at 16 with my first guru status. I guess our version of like a senior instructor or a master instructor is Mas Guru. I got that at 24. And I'm one of, I think, about 2 or 3, maybe 4 guys in the world that still teach his methods. So yeah, so it's pretty unique. I mean, people look at it and they think, hey, is that PTK? Well, yes and no, because they changed a lot. And I've been people say, hey, you're doing that wrong. Well, not necessarily. Greg did his own thing with it. So yeah, that's kind of a little reference for people because people will watch my stuff and kind of be a little confused. Like, is that kind of yes and no. So but yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome because again, we talk about the divergent paths, and for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, we talk about this all the time, but there's drama in FMA. I mean, so as a result of it, there's divergent paths and different branches of the tree. But anyways, with historically with GT, it has 3 major generations and iterations in the PTK community. And so you guys just happen to be part of that first generation, just kind of walked a different path, which, I mean, that happens in any organization. I mean, if you look at Belinta Walk itself, there's like, I think 7 or 8 different trees of that. So, and then again, everybody's going to be a little different. So, but in my observation of your expression, I really love the power that you have. You have dynamic power. So if anybody wants to check that out, I'll bring up your Instagram a little bit later. You can see the movement, the flow, but there's also a lot of force behind it, and it's really cool to watch. So let's getting down to the brass tacks. The reason for this episode is you have a pretty cool announcement of a project that you're working on, and yeah, let's talk about it.
Sure. Yeah. No. Once again, I really appreciate you reaching out to talk about this. Yeah. I mean, I think I touched a bit on it in the last episode I was in, but I mean, I have started doing some acting and some stunt coordination, kind of in the film industry. You know, I moved out here to the East Coast about 6 years ago. And you know, of course, we all grew up watching, you know, Shaw Brothers movies, Sonny Chiba movies. I mean, that's why I got into martial arts. So I always, since a kid, wanted to be in the industry, always, and just kind of had to build up the courage and the self-belief that I can do it, you know. Took to my 30s to get that, but hey, so, you know, better later than never, you know. But yeah, so met some friends. I wrote this script. I wrote this myself. It's a short film. And I wanted to showcase our style because there's a lot of martial arts movies out there. And, you know, the best way I can describe it is kind of a John Wick type. It's very much kind of the same universe, kind of same style, but really showcasing what we do. And yeah, so been sitting on the idea for years, made some contacts out here on the East Coast, and we are set in pre-production. So my short film is called No Peace. It's about a mob enforcer, a blade for one of the top mobs in the area, has a change of heart, mysterious change of heart, and decides to dismantle what he was a part of. So it's going to be intense, nonstop action. The martial arts is going to be a part of the character itself. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a short film. So and it's also going to be a proof of concept. And for anybody who's never heard that term before, you can make a smaller budget short film, which you can then pitch to big production companies to be made into a full feature, right? And there are a handful of movies. I think the one that everybody's going to know is the Saw movies. You remember those movies? That was a student film. You know, you know, the first one is in one location. It was a literal student film. They took that and went to a producer and said, "Hey, we got this idea for a feature," and it blew up. You know. So that's my idea with this too. But yeah, it's very exciting. I got, you know, producer on the board, a young guy named Kyle. I love Kyle a lot. I met Kyle because I did a fight scene for him for his film in Federal Hill in Baltimore. And I'm part of a website called backstage.com. And that is like one of the biggest networking sites for film. So you could be an actor, you could be anything, a director of photography or a producer or whatever. And you could just, you know, find jobs or postings and you can apply for them. So Kyle reached out to me because he said I was the only stunt coordinator listed in Baltimore, which I thought was kind of interesting. So had me out, met him, and I also met my buddy Kyle. Kyle's the GOAT. I love Kyle. And Kyle is a first AD. Now, what an AD does, that's assistant director, all right? Now, on a set, you got the director who's kind of the boss, right? But he's more the creative guy, you know, make sure the scene looks good, working with the actors. The AD is all logistics, making sure everything's on time, schedule, all that stuff. So Tyler's like I said, he's a boss, man. He running guns, and this is what he does for a living. So he's out in Texas, so he's going to fly out for this. But you know, like I said, I'm making connections. Met him, then I met Colin, I met Matt, it's the director of photography and the director, and they were all on board. They're like, let's make this happen. They read the script, they love it, and yeah, we're in pre-production. We want to start shooting by January. So, and everything based upon all the martial arts based upon FMA.
Dude, that's awesome. I love stunt actors because coming from the combat sports world, I mean, that's a different animal to deal with. But stunt actors, and I've talked about this before because I've had Isabella Mares on here. I've had Guidre Yakitse on here. They're both female stunt actresses. And like there's something about stunt actors and actresses about like they bring this excitement and full expression of the art and without the dire consequences of like things like this thing that I'm dealing with now. So I had a little boo-boo in training on Saturday. So
dang, okay.
But my point being is like I mean, obviously Jackie Chan's been fucked up several times. But point being is that without the dire consequences of say like
you have to make your living getting beat up in the regard of your no, it's kind of the same. I'm losing my thought here, but my point being is stunt people have this beautiful excitement of expression. You get to see all the artistry and all the what ifs of a particular martial arts. And I mean, again, we talked about the things that inspired us, because if you're approaching 40, we all watched Power Rangers, we all watched Ninja Turtles, we all watched Chuck Norris, we all watched all the things, and it's what got us into what we're doing today. And again, that excitement and that inspiration carries on to each next generation. And it's really cool to see like the people who are in it now and moving forward as to what it can be. So yeah, I love stunt people. They're just fun.
Yeah. And you said a really good point there. I mean, it is, and even when you meet other martial artists, I think Brian's hopping there. Brian's a buddy of mine. He just, there he is.
Yeah. I love his nunchuck work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. He's good people.
He is an awesome guy. He's one of the first guys who kind of hit me up and just praised what I did. So I really appreciate his support of his quote says my movement is goals. So I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. It inspires me. So, but yeah, I mean, stunts are so fun because especially when you get somebody who does like sparring or fighting, you know, it goes where it needs to go. You can't, you know, you're in survival mode, and for a stunt scene, you can do what you want to do. You can have a cool move that you can't necessarily pull off in a fight unless the opportunity presents itself. You can do all the cool moves you want. You can do all that stuff. And so it's just, you're able to really just have fun, you know, and then being a martial artist, you can do the moves and make them look good. So, I mean, oh yeah, it's an absolute blast. It's a way to be creative. It's a way to really just express the moves that you have. And then, yeah, I mean, and if you do some martial arts yourself or any sparring, I mean, you're able to kind of really get the cadence and the form of it and the timing and the positioning. And yeah, I mean, to any martial artist out there, if you're able to do stunt work, do it. It's so much fun. It's absolutely so much fun. So, and I'll tell you this too, for anybody who wants to do it as well. You know, if you want to get into stunts, they need people like you. They need martial artists. When I did my first couple stunt coordination gigs, like a great example is when I was on set with my buddy Kyle and Tyler. It wasn't a big martial arts scene. It was pretty much a bar fight. But throws whiskey in the face, punches the guy, clears two guys out of the way, right? Well, they're actors. They don't know how to do these things. And so when you're the guy on set, all eyes are on you. They're like, what is this supposed to look like? You know, and so you're the expert, and it's fun because then you're able to be creative. Okay, like if he throws whiskey in your glass, you can't just punch him because his hands are up. You got to clear his hand and hit him. And they love that stuff. They absolutely just were ecstatic of those details because they don't think about that stuff. So yeah, I mean, if there's any action on a set and you want to get into stunts and you're a martial artist, everybody, brothers, sisters, they need you. They're going to have fun with you on set. So if anybody here watching this wants to do it, it's fun. Reach out, look for local films. They need people like us. So
yeah, like a lifetime ago, again, talking about Power Rangers and also like the prequels to Star Wars.
Yeah,
I think it was 16. I had put in a couple of like demo videos to get picked up because they did a general call for young martial artists. Obviously, I didn't get picked up, but it was a cool opportunity. So
yeah.
In another life, maybe, but yeah, that'd be really cool. Because we see this in movies, because like the paradox that we run into, or the paradigm, is that you have an actor who has no authenticity in their movement, and you know what bad looks like. I mean, Keanu Reeves, bless his heart, for taking on the notes of like from The Matrix, because The Matrix was really rough. I mean, Matrix defined a whole generation of film and moving forward, but like it was really rough to see his movement. Now 20 years later with John Wick, after he's got a couple of black belts doing all the 3-gun stuff, like his movement is clean, it's real, it's realistic, it's something that you can say that, hey, he put some work in. And then you have like the far side of like some really shitty movement, and I bring this up all the time, is Iron Fist.
Oh god, I was thinking the same thing.
It's so fucking awful.
Yeah.
So then you run into the other problem where you have a phenomenal martial artist who can't act out of a paper bag. So like finding this happy little medium, it's a cool thing to see in the industry now. And it's really cool to see like the prominence and the call where you're seeing these movies, big films that are, it's stunt actor led. I mean, just looking at like the John Wick films and just like the whole, it was a proof of concept of like, we're just going to celebrate stunt actors. The story kind of takes second place, but it's all about the stunt work. And also what we're going to see the same production team with Highlander. It's really about the stunt work and not so much the story. So yeah, it's really cool to see the authenticity of movement meeting a cool story and seeing the high production, because you also see this in the tactical world with all the like special operations films like Jack Carr's Terminal List and stuff like that, where it's really you have the authentic movement on set because you actually have SEALs and operators there, part of the production team, and actually actors in the scene. So it's really cool to see again the bar being raised to such a level. And again, small projects like yours, I mean, that's where you get the start. So yeah, good on you for taking the effort on that, taking lead on it, and just doing the thing. I'm excited to watch it. So yeah.
Thank you, man. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's a dream come true. I'm like a little kid doing what he wanted to do when he was a kid. Back when I was, swinging plastic swords in my backyard. I mean, this is the same thing. It's no different. But yeah, I mean, and you're right. It is always, you see that, of course, as martial artists, it's funny. I remember when I was a teenager and I first started training, the moment you can have 2 days of martial arts training, you will never watch an action movie the same. It changes it. You know that, right? It changes it forever. The first time I was learning knife drills or stick drills, and then I watched a martial art movie, I never looked at it the same. So it's kind of hard for us. We can't help but judge, which is fine. It's fine. We still enjoy it, the way we did as kids, but it is a real balance. And I mean, yeah, there's always that kind of balance of who can act, who can do martial arts, and can they do both, And usually, I mean, of course, when you do it a blockbuster, you got to get somebody who's an actor first and train them, So what I was impressed with, I don't know how you feel about it, was Shang-Chi. That impressed me. Like, I was like, okay, that, one of my more favorite recent knife or fight scenes is the guy in the mask and that knife fight in the construction. You remember that?
Funny, so it's a group of three or four brothers, because I follow them on Instagram. They're in Paper Tigers. They are in everything in the universe. It's a Michelle Yeoh movie that came out here recently, but like there's a group of three brothers that are really making it big, bringing back like high level kung fu choreography. I forget. I'll have to find their Instagram tag because their stuff is amazing. But point being is they're that was one of their major debuts is in Shang-Chi. So yeah, but anyways.
No, that's cool. I didn't know you knew who they were. That's awesome. Yeah. But that one, I mean, of course, it's a Marvel movie, so it's big, but they're doing kung fu. So of course, us kind of being connoisseurs are like, all right, let's see how this is. I don't know. I'm gonna judge it, And I was thoroughly impressed, especially that knife fight in the high rise. Very, very impressive. Very impressive. And even the fight with his dad at the end. I mean, even though there's a lot of CGI, that was good. That was a lot of thought, and I was really, really impressed with that. So, I mean, it's out there, and I think there's a lot of guys like us, that are out there. You probably heard of the stunt crew 8711, right? Yeah. So I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're all originally Inosanto guys. And
yeah, I mean, you have them, and then you have the Mars group, which is an offshoot of the Inosanto community, because that's Diana Inosanto and Ron Balicki, and because I mean they're based out of LA, so there's that whole group. Plus you have the XMA people with Mike Chat. I don't know if you know who that is from the NASCA. Yeah, so he was really like a pioneer when it comes to like extreme. I mean, XMA got coined because of him. So yeah, like you see these production companies obviously out on the West Coast, but they're generating great stunt people. Another one that I've been really enjoying watching from the Libre community is Jay Crooms, because they're working a lot of like the dynamic Libre stuff and kind of like the Piper movement. And because I've been playing with a lot of that here recently, it's just like, oh, that's fun to watch, because it's again the expression of stunt people. Like they sell it, and it's just cool. And because we judge authenticity of movement, and yeah, they can definitely sell it. Here it is. Brian said it's Andy and Brian Lee. Got
it. The two guys who did the fight scene in Shang-Chi.
Yeah. So the bigger one is Andy, I think. Yeah. The bigger guy's Andy. and his brother is the bigger guy is the other one, is Brian, and Andy's the smaller guy.
Gotcha. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check them out. I didn't know who they were. So
yeah,
there it is.
There we go.
All right. Appreciate it, Brian. I'll have to look at that. Yeah, I mean, like even at another example too is the Dune movies, right? That was all. I think it looked like mostly Balitawak, to be honest. But yeah, it kind of touched back to what I said before. I mean, a lot of times, you have, when I've been involved with some pre-production, I mean, you're getting the image of what you want to see. And so you've got producers and directors who see how they want it to look. So, I mean, I'll use Dune as an example, right? Okay, they fight with short blades. Well, how are they going to fight? Well, let's go find who fights with short blades. Oh, we find these guys, and they don't know how to do any of this. So that's kind of cool with stunt people. I mean, they're dependent on you. Like it's a lot of trust. And so it's fun if you enjoy it, when you got, even with John Wick, I mean, it's part of it. That crew is so crucial because they have the look, but now you guys have to make it look that way. You have to make the fight scene. Marvel's going to make Shang-Chi. They got the image, but you guys are going to be the bread and butter to make the fight scenes look the way they need to look. And so it is, you see some of these movies and it's like, I hope people can see how crucial that was. It wouldn't be what it is without that, and so it's fun. I would even say, like, I mean, I know you mentioned the first Matrix movies, obviously they're all actors. None of them are martial artists. It was, in my mind, it was okay. And then the guy who choreographed it was Yin Wu-Ping. One of my favorite. I mean, I was watching his stuff back when I was a kid. Iron Monkey, love that movie. He did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's probably his magnum opus there, But still, you look at that, that's pretty impressive. He got all these actors who don't know anything. And not only just to kind of look decent, but to do all those moves and no shaky cam, it was all pulled back. So they're seeing the moves. Still very impressive. I mean, to me, as far as the undertaking, yes, it's not necessarily the standard of what we want to see. But I'm like, that's what they did was impressive. To get all those people who don't know anything to look like that and to get those moves in that sequence without a lot of cuts is very, very impressive. So, and then when you watch the new Matrix movies, there's such a difference. It's like, come on, come on. It was you could tell it wasn't the same effort,
I mean, the gunplay, yeah. I mean, the other one too is Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Because again, I mean, to be fair, she also, I mean, she has a dance and a slight martial arts background, so she could sell it and just have the general athleticism. But yeah, and also just like the way that we're gonna nerd out about films today because that's just what we're gonna do. But point being, anyways, you can see like the attention to detail as to like an homage to like Shaw Brothers style filming. I mean, The Matrix was quite clear that it's a Shaw Brothers homage to like the way that he filmed the fight scenes, the storytelling, the visual storytelling of those scenes. Like, and the same with, again, Tarantino, like he's all about Shaw Brothers and the excessive amount of like ridiculousness that comes with it. So yeah, that taking actors who, one, you can tell the actors who are going to half-ass it. I mean, we just know because we see, but you see the other ones that just embrace it and go after it. And I mean, also like with the rise of like, because the audience is so much more educated about stuff now. Because I mean, the kung fu boom of America in the '60s after Bruce Lee and just leading into that, where everybody was getting into it. But that bubble popped, especially after the UFC and the heavy emphasis of combat sports, and then, of course, the military and just films in general. Like I said, people have got far more educated of what right looks like and what doesn't. And so there's this expectation from the audience of like, yeah, they can be flashy, but it's got to be functional and making sure that makes sense. Like, because like the thing I'm really enjoying, aside from my experiences with jiu-jitsu heavily this past couple of years, is like seeing the integration of more jiu-jitsu, like practical jiu-jitsu and judo, especially with that last John Wick movie of that takes the forefront. And again, with FMA, I mean, FMA is in there in every film, but it doesn't have like the credit that's due to it. So like back to Dune, the fight choreographer flat out said, we're featuring FMA because with House Atreides, he flat out said, this is FMA. And you can clearly see the notes of Balintawak, and there's a bit of PTK in there. Even like in Dune Part 2, when he's fighting in the pit against against. Okay, when he's fighting in the pit and Dune Part 2, the actual
Right.
stunt coordinator as the survivor. I mean, that's a doggy Espada fight versus single
Oh
blade.
yeah, they pulled out Filipino blades. They literally pulled out Espada y
Yeah.
Daga. Yeah. Mhm.
So like again, he was very clear as to what the styles were going to be, and also he had said like the Fremen were going to use like a French knife system, and of course like the Sardaukar had more of a samurai look to him. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's really cool to see the stunt coordinator say, hey, this is what the features are going to be of this particular group, and you see the story built upon it, and also you get to see the characterization, the ethos, whatever you want to call it, that comes with that storyline, because you get to see like the nobility again with Dune, with House Atreides, in their movement and the clean history of their of that style. And again, stunt coordinator is giving an homage to something that they love, because like where we have seen FMA, of course, is with the Bourne Identity series, where it is more the super secret squirrel tactical stuff, but it doesn't really have the emphasis of like the artistry side of it. So
No, that's a very good point. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember. I think I saw Dune 2 in the theaters, and when he opens the case, it's like, oh yeah, it's awesome. I love the Spotty Daga set. But yeah, I think it's a good point. I think the Bourne movies are probably, at least to what I could think of, probably the first mainstream FMA influenced fight scene that I could think of. I may be wrong, but for sure, and it kind of fit the tactical setting, like you said. But yeah, I mean, it's all over, and I think it's I think we talked about this before too, but I mean, with Inosanto's influence and so many Inosanto guys going into the stunt scene because they're all in California. I mean, FMA in movies are everywhere. Even like a basic, even like a basic exchange in a fight was probably an Inosanto guy. The 300, those were Inosanto guys. They didn't know how the Greeks fought. It's all FMA. You know what I mean? So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I think for Aquaman, they used the Filipino longstaff for the trident moves. Those are all Inosanto guys. So yeah, it's good to see everywhere. But yes, I mean, we're seeing little by little here where it's kind of being showcased as that. And when I had the idea for this short film, I definitely wanted to look more towards that. I mean, definitely, like I said, the John Wick vibe, which still is a lot of judo, jiu-jitsu in there, like you said, but with a lot of more, some kind of Filipino knife stuff here or there. But I wanted what we do to be more of the forefront. And actually, when I wrote it, I took out a lot of the gun work. Like, you know what? Let's just make it blades. And not only that, this is a smaller film. Guns are expensive. Guns, weapons expert, blanks, CGI for the guns. It's very, very expensive. And I'm like, you know what? We don't even need it. So we're going all just straight FMA. So, but I mean, I'm really part of the announcement of this. I think you saw the announcement video too. Is, I mean, I have an open call to action for stunt people. I need stunt people. So, I mean, I know a lot of martial artists out here on the East Coast, and of course, anybody watching this, let me know. But the same thing. I want this to be as solid as possible. I mean, it's only a short film, but the fight scenes are going to be very, very clean and professional. So no shaky cam stuff. I want it to be wide shots. I pulled a lot of inspiration from like 90s Jackie Chan movies, like where they would follow the hands, like here, switch the weapon, follow the hands that way. Like I love that kind of work, where the camera will follow that. So my director of photography, Matt's an awesome guy. He's also a tactical guy himself. He's a former Marine sniper and went into the film industry. But he and I are planning that once I start kind of conglomerating my stunt crew, start going to a studio practicing, and he's going to practice filming us. So we're going to start working on the look, and I want to do that as soon as possible. So that way we're able to have, there's no guessing work. We know what it's going to look like. Design the fight scenes. He's going to know exactly how he wants to shoot them. So the camera work is going to be crucial. I mean, this too. I mean, a guy can be an amazing martial artist and look very clean. If the camera works off, it's going to be shit. So we know we need that. But I want to have lots of rhythmic action. Follow the hands. Follow maybe a shot of the feet. Wide shots, close shots. That's all going to be part of it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we come up with. So, but we're trying to start that whole stunt process. That's like the first thing. And we're going to be working that up until we're shooting. So that's the idea.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
do you have an Indiegogo prepped and ready to go, or is it
Yeah.
still?
So it's almost being finished built. We just started building it. The launch is October 1st.
Okay.
So the goal is 10 grand, which will more than easily take care of everything.
Yeah.
So, and for anybody, who's kind of interested, I mean, by all means, anybody watching, I would love your help. It would be so fantastic. This is a passion project, so we're not making money off this. Most short films aren't. A full feature, it's a gamble, not a gamble, but it's an investment because a producer gives money to get that money back. When Disney spends $100 million to make a Captain America, they're going to make $300 million back. It's an investment. Short films are not. This is just absolute fun. So, I mean, I'm not taking any of this money. This is all going into it. So, I mean, but there are things that we need as far as equipment. Most of our crew is going to be volunteer because we all know people. We know cameramen, we know extras, gaffers, grips. We know all those people. And I'll be honest, for most of our stunt guys, I mean, this is going to be a passion project too. I may not be able to pay most of you, to be honest. So most money is going to be going into equipment, travel, and then usually typical fashion is you pay the actors. So I don't think I've said this yet, but I'm playing the lead, because I do some acting. I'm going to play the lead guy. We discussed not having me play the lead, but I'm like, the martial arts being a part of it, I'm afraid to risk getting an actor. And like we talked about, training him to be able to do what I needed to look like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and do the lead. I don't want to direct it. That's too many hats on my head. So we got Colin to direct it. Kind of lost what I was saying there. Oh yeah, okay. So money wise, I mean, money is usually going to go into equipment, travels. We got to feed everybody, but no, everybody here, we just love this. We're all excited about it. Most of us are not getting any money in our pockets for this. So anybody watching for stunts, by all means, I mean, I can't promise you a lot of money, but I mean, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be such a blast, and all of us are FMA guys, so we're all just going to geek out. It's going to be fun to make. It'll be fun to watch. So.
Yeah, so like looking at, again, a passion project, you got to start somewhere. It's just like a brand new author. Like the fact that you have a published piece of work, that's better than the majority of the world who wants to do it, but didn't take the chance or didn't go through the process of just getting something out there. It's just like content creation. It's literally content creation of like you're stepping into a bigger stage of that. So again, doing the thing, having the courage, the bravery, and the willingness to put yourself out there. That's, again, you're taking lead. It's better than, again, the what ifs, we could have done it, and I could almost have done that. It's like, well, just go do the fucking thing. So yeah, that's great. Let's talk about Indiegogo, because I remember Range 15. I don't know if you're familiar with this film.
Range 15?
Yeah. So it's a 100% veteran funded film that was in 2017. You had the guys from Article 15 and Ranger Up and Matt Best. Like these are, and Black Rifle Coffee. This is like way back in the day. Cool. And they did general call for veteran funding, and it was the highest funded Indiegogo project at the time. I mean, they raised several $1 million for this thing.
No kidding.
Because they reached out to the niche of the community and everybody showed up, and it was a really cool thing to see and participate in, because I put like $100 into the whole thing, but it didn't really matter. But the fact is, like, it was cool to see something like that as a passion project that went forward, did the whole thing. The film was awful, but they intended it to be awful because it was a zombie flick.
Nice.
But you got to see all the features of like everybody who was in the social media scene from the veteran community. So it was just really cool to see that. And again, they took the effort, took the lead, and just did the damn thing. So it's really cool to see martial arts do the same thing. Because like I had Isabel Lemaire's on here because she was also funding trying to do a call to fund her film, the Filipino Karate Kid, and they got fully funded and filmed, and they're in post-production at this point. So it's definitely possible, and we have a niche community that you can push this out there to, one, just get it marketed, and two, just get it supported. Because like after we had done that podcast, like a couple of weeks later, they got fully funded. So
nice.
So with that, like once you get your Indiegogo going, just let me know. I'll have it blasted. I mean, I'm smaller on this end, but still, like it's definitely something that can happen. And again, our FMA community is, despite all the drama, we're a small community, and we all want to see FMA come to the forefront quite legitimately. And so I can see a lot of support from that, especially like switching gears to the other stuff that you've been doing with Wego Toto. So because there is a huge community support to that. So anyways, segue. Let's talk about Wego Toto.
Wego Toto is amazing. My brother Lex Chrysostimo is the president of the first American branch of Wego Toto. So Wego Toto is an organization of full contact stick fighting. There's certain rules. It's 3 rounds in an octagon. So first round is double stick. So you wear the WCAF helmet, MMA gloves, and doble baston, right? First round that. Second round is single stick. Third round is straight MMA. Take off the helmets, straight MMA. Awesome. Love the stuff. It's a great idea. And Lex reached out to me. It's got to be maybe 2-3 months ago, and offered for me to be an ambassador of the organization. So loved it. It's definitely picking up traction, and I love it. It's we're getting a lot of support. He's talking to the organization in the Philippines all the time, and it's growing. We had our first event not too long ago. I know you saw pictures of it. Amazing success. God bless Lex. He was working that night, so he couldn't be there. So he's on the phone doing FaceTime to everybody. But it was fantastic. Amazing time. A lot of great people came out. Ty Botting, Tim Martin was there. Felix Royles was there. Got to see all those guys again. And the vision of it is to grow it here in the States. With MMA, of course, being the big martial art right now in the world. It's the big one. It's bridging those gaps. It's bridging the gaps between what we do and what they do. And it's a way for both worlds to kind of collide and collaborate. So exciting. I mean, and the fight night too, we had some situations where we had FMA guys doing MMA, and we had some cage fighters who just put sticks in their hands. But it's already cross-pollinating, and I love that. So I think the sky's the limit for this, man. It's growing. It's growing. Lex, it's amazing to see he and his dad putting in a massive amount of work. I mean, they're grinding all the time. I'm a part of a couple of group chats, and sometimes I can't keep up, man, with all the stuff that's going on. And but we got people out in, of course, West Coast, people out here on the East Coast, and it's growing. It's growing. So it's very exciting to see where this goes. And I believe the vision is this for this to be, a nationwide, worldwide organization where you'll be seeing Wego Toto fights on ESPN. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Lex reached out for me to come down. It's like, well, next year, because I would love to participate, because I also had them on the podcast, and it was really cool to see the effort that they're doing. And again, having FMA come to the forefront, because I really think this is the season for FMA when it comes to both the film industry and combat sports, and of course the tactical world. But the tactical world is very niche as it is anyways, but seeing it to the other two parts of that triangle, because of my biggest critique about FMA, again being a lifelong FMAer, is when you're trying to compete against other combat sports, it's hard to have a soccer mom who's used to taekwondo and jiu-jitsu and like looking at FMA as a competitive outlet, like, well, you're hitting each other with sticks. Like, well, yeah, you're doing that also with boxing. You're not hitting each other with sticks, but you're hitting people in combat sports. So seeing that cross over, and on top of all that, people haven't had such an exposure to it as a competitive outlet that there hasn't been necessarily in the forefront of people's minds. And again, you see like the two polar extremes with WCAF and PCAF, where the critique is they're just fanning each other with sticks. Not that I have anything against that. And then you see the other side with the Dog Brothers, where they're just fucking crazy, which is also awesome. So finding that happy medium of where it can be that you're not doing both extremes so it's palatable, that is something that needs to be more into the public eye, and Wego Toto is a great opportunity for that to bridge the gap between the two. And again, my biggest critique about FMA is for national recognition is, where is the competitive outlet? Because with an FMAer, you have a very few like end state places you can be with it. You can be a tactical person, you can be a stunt person, but for competition, you end up doing something else. So having a competitive lane for FMA, purely for FMA, that's really cool to see. So the efforts of Fuego Todo, awesome. I would love to see them reach out more to the West Coast as well, especially like with the PNW, because there's a huge Filipino community up there in the Pacific Northwest and obviously in LA. And the combat sports community up in the Pacific Northwest is huge. So, yeah, I would love to see Fuego Todo go northwest. And also, it's easier for me to come down. So, anyways.
There it is, yeah. Yeah, coming out to the East Coast is a bit of a hike for you, I know. So
yeah. But you did I got a question over here from Justin from Sabong Kali. He's asking, is there any reason why they use padded sticks but allow for full contact punches and kicks at full power?
It's a very good question. Okay, so as you know, this branch in the US, it is an infant. It's not even a toddler yet. So we actually, I remember at the event, we all had to go into a back corner. We had everybody, we had every council member, every ambassador, really working out the rules. So I believe because the Filipino headquarters, what they say is ultimately what goes. And when it came to the States, they said use padded sticks, don't use real sticks yet. So now there was of course some of us like, well, we want to use real sticks. Even some of the fighters were like, I don't want padded sticks, I want real sticks. So that is currently being worked out. The permission we have at the moment is padded sticks only. But that doesn't mean that we won't do real sticks at one point. It's in the works. So, and to be honest, even the people who are fighting want real sticks. We want to see their, we want to see, real sticks flying. Of course, when you're sparring, there's more consequences for real sticks. So, but yeah, that's a great question. It's very fair, and we're definitely working on it. I don't have an answer at the moment, but I will tell you that most everybody is kind of lobbying towards real sticks. It's all a matter until the headquarters can give us the okay for that. So, yeah.
Seeing the logs that you swing, I mean, that would be that's a hard sell, but still, yeah. Get to like the 5/8 inch Balintawak Ferrari sticks. That'd be fun to watch. Lots of
logs on a swing. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have some big sticks.
Yeah, you got some big sticks.
Interpret that as you will, everybody.
Yeah. Like I said, we're talking shit today. So,
right.
But you did some demo work as well, and you did a workshop, which is really cool from what I saw. Just overall in the event, that the primary ambassadors did a small workshop of like what they're presenting, what they have to offer, and it ended up being just a big seminar and fight event, which is a great format.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to kind of bring people together. And I mean, you had people who come to watch the fights but not participate. You had people who came to participate and not watch the fights. And I think overall it was just a way to get everybody there and just support the event, Yeah, when I got there, I taught the first segment. I think I taught like 2 hours, and we taught it in the octagon, which was kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a way for everybody. It's the whole energy is just sharing and promoting this art. Whether you want to participate and learn some things, whether you're fighting, or just an observer. So I mean, it was I thought having the seminar before the fight start was a very, very good idea. It just helped the whole environment and the whole feel. So I thought it was a good idea. Yeah,
doing a documentary style approach for like the next major event where you have the seminar and filming the seminar, featuring the instructors and filming the fight event. That'd be a really cool way to promote it. Like you can get somebody like Jesse Santiago from not FMA Connect, FMA Pulse to come record it. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
But
anybody. So yeah.
Yeah, like again, seeing that come to the forefront is really fun. Having that dual event is really fun because I remember competing in NASCA and stuff where they have obviously the competition throughout the weekend, but they also had seminars throughout the weekend. So you had both options to participate. And when I had the fight promotion that I co-produced, we had the fight, but like the day after, we also had the clinicals with whatever guest instructor was available. Like we had people like Dwayne Ludwig do a couple of seminars after the fights. So
nice.
It was fun though. Covered a couple of things today. We covered, of course, your putting out the the call to action for your video. For
Yeah.
your, we talked about Wago Toto. What else can we get into today? I don't know how much time you got.
Oh, I'm done time, man. I'm off today, so no work
Oh.
today. So I'm all chilling. Yeah.
Nice.
No. So I don't know. It kind of got my ADHD brain thinking. But you talked about swinging the logs and my power generation. It just kind of made me bridge the gap because I kind of started doing that and developing a lot of power because of sparring experience. So when I was I started this, like I said, I was 15 and I was this big around as a kid. I was a tiny man. I was 130 pounds soaking wet. I kind of had a growth spurt when I got older. But I remember, I moved well. I got a lot of compliments. I was very, athletic and I was very fast and all that stuff. But I wasn't very big and I wasn't doing a lot of power training. And I remember I did like Dog Brothers stuff, not with the Dog Brothers, but full contact stick fighting. So first one I was able to win. I won the first two, and then I was a kid. And I fought one guy, he was a Filipino guy. He was maybe at the time, maybe 20, 22. But he was big. He was about 6'2". He wasn't a weightlifter. It was about 230. And I was like 130 pounds. Now, I had more skill, and it was kind of funny because I remember we had the weak half helmets, we had the hockey gloves, but it's Dog Brothers rules. So, and there's a crowd watching, and he comes in, and I just blast his arm. And it's funny because the whole crowd went, ooh, like they all heard the hit. And he had the biggest stick prints on his arms. But ultimately, he was able to kind of power through it, just pick me up, slam, and fit and punches, and he won the fight. And second fight was a guy, was a friend of mine named Kyle as well, about 6'5", 6'5", Taekwondo black belt, and a competitive power lifter. And I'm a child, and I'm fighting this grown man. And same thing. I mean, I could tell he saw the look because we started going, and I'm like, he saw my body language go, I can't beat this guy. And so he was my friend, so he kind of backed off, not just bludgeoning me to the ground. But that was a moment of, I got the form, I got the technique. I don't hit hard enough. I need more power. And so that was just from experience, a lot of just learning how to, okay, if I'm going to hit somebody, it's got to make a difference. Like you're watching the video here, all my twirls are intentional. When they hit you, they got to make an impact. Because I've been in a situation where I did that and it didn't have an impact, literally. You know what I'm saying? So that was a lot of the inspiration was from experience of like, I got to think about, with what I do, how would it not work? And one of my first big humbling moments were if I'm fighting a guy who's that much bigger and I'm hitting him and it's not hurting him, even though I'm hitting him in spots without pads, well, then I got something to work on. So it was really the kind of fire that started the power journey of, without being caveman, can I have all the small movements? And you don't need a lot of space to do a big swing. That's was the beauty of what the Cañetes developed. Is like, as long as you have the good, strong, flexible wrist, you can put power anywhere if you know how to do it. Learning how your body works. And so that was kind of, like I said, where my power journey started. So, and it's funny too, because there's times when I did the first couple seminars out here in the East Coast. Do you know who Ty Botting is? Have you met Ty Botting?
Yeah, I know who Ty is. Okay,
Ty's a pretty cool guy. His original background is Kung Fu. Ty's a very, very powerful guy. And I remember I taught a segment at some gathering, and he called me over and said, "Where did you learn that?" Because he saw my power generation. He thought like I had some Kung Fu background, which I've dabbled a little bit in. But I mean, just we all can have the twirls. We all can have the form. There's ways the elbow has to be in, stay off the center. But a lot of times when I would teach segments at seminars, it's all about, okay, most of you, you're all FMA-Nerds. You have this. You already have this. I don't need to show you how to do a one. I don't need to show you how to do a disarm. You have all that. I'm going to show you how to take that one and just make it more powerful. It's going to be more effective, and so, because that's what I worked on a lot of. So, but it's all just from losing and sparring effectively. So it's always very humbling for your power is just see how it works. You'll feel it in your body. Like here, I mean, I try to start from the center. Mm-hmm. I think if you listen to your body, you will start to see where the energy is getting stuck, from feet to the end of your fingers. I mean, if I'm moving the stick and I'm feeling strain in my elbow, and I'm feeling the strain in my elbow, like, okay, the energy's stopping there. And this is not like, chi woo-woo, no, this is just mechanics. It's knowing how your body works, And a lot of times if you swing a bigger stick, you start slow, don't try to grip that stick strong, relax the grip actually. You don't relax it when you fight or when you train. You relax it when you flow and see if you can feel where the energy is going. and that's what I play with all the time, just the details, because most of the basic stuff we all have. It's just making those same things better,
I mean, just to talk martial arts nerdy as we do, I mean, good technique, quote unquote, good technique is just really efficient economy of motion, the effective execution of biomechanics and all those other technical mouth words. So like you know what feels right and what doesn't, because again, if it hurts, then it probably didn't work. I mean, yeah, you can force your way through it, or you can get stronger. But the reality is, like you said, the body's going to tell you, like, dude, that's just not working for me. So it's adjust and move flow with that. I mean, a great example, again, utilizing Kung Fu for this point of reference, is looking at, like, say, chain whip. Like, you can see where you have the good economy of motion to maintain the flow and the circular motions, and that requires great body positioning and extension and all those things to make sure that you can get this dart or this ball to flow without smacking you in the face, and continuing that flow and movement from point A to point B. Because the rope is really unforgiving, because you can definitely tell where the mechanics of that launch are working and the retraction are working, and then also you can see when it doesn't. And the stick, very much the same, especially when you start moving with heavier sticks or longer sticks, that you can see and definitely feel like what feels right, what doesn't. Because on top of all that, as a force multiplier, that tool needs to help you. And if it's hurting you more than helping you, utilizing the wrong tool, and it's not working for you because you have the tech efficiency. But again, if you're also somebody with a straw, that regardless of how strong you are, the tool will dictate certain things.
It definitely will. I mean, light sticks are fun to play with, but I mean, I think about, like, if I had to defend myself with a stick, I want some heft to it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, a smaller stick, I mean, if you still, mass, mass times force, or was it? No, mass times acceleration equals force. That's why, and I love that about, like, Bobby Tabata's Blintulac, he's always like quicker.
Oh yeah.
Because if it's faster, and they use small sticks, they'll still don't get me wrong, he'll still knock your ass out, But with the quickness and the hit, and that's it's mathematics, it's physics. Quick, fast, it's going to be more powerful. So you don't necessarily need a bigger stick, but it does help. Just a little more weight. And I think also, like, to play with mechanics. I mean, when you hit a bag, sometimes it is different hitting a body. Sometimes, for example, if you hit somebody, you don't want the stick to stay. So I'll work on how to hit and pull through. So I can pull. Does that make sense? So I can pull back. Because even if I hit him and maybe he wraps it, well, I just lost my stick. So can I hit and pull through so I can get my weapon back to me? So I think about those things. What mechanics am I hitting with? When I hit, can I pull with the back to get it back to me? So, I mean, I'll look at things of, I made the impact, I have to get my weapon back. Because the stick may not go through him, it may stop on him. So can I hit and pull back?
I mean, we're talking about blade mechanics. Like, you have the cut through to a thrust position, or you have a break cut, or it's a snap and then return, but you still have to retrieve that to maintain that next position. Because again, if you just hack something and it stays, again, it's just stuck in a tree or stuck in a bone or whatever. So you have to retract and recover so you can maintain the flow. And also with Balintawak, for back to that, because I'm a student underneath GM Bobby, it just so happens that he's just punching you and he's holding a stick.
Exactly. So, it's all punching mechanics.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I mean, I remember this is maybe 7 years ago, but I used to travel for work a lot.
Yeah.
And I was in Charlotte,
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, and I messaged Drew Occidental, right? And I said, GM Bobby's in Charlotte, right? He said, yeah. You want to train with him? I said, well, yeah, of course. Why not? And so I went over to his house, and that was my first time ever doing Balintawak, was with GM Bobby himself, And it was kind of funny. It was challenging, amazing, and frustrating at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's the experience. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And a big part of it was that, you look at how I move, a lot of mine are waves. They're waving motions. And Bobby, GM Bobby's mechanics are punching. And so I've never done that before. So he showed me how to move, and I'm like, fuck. It wasn't working the same. So it was very good for me. It was very good for me to see a different way the body moved. But it was definitely a big eye opener, just to see a different way it moved. I mean, I mean, he saw what I did too. He complimented me for being fast, but it's just like every time I did something, it was just like it wasn't quite right because I didn't have the mindset of that's a punch. It's a punch. It's a punch. It's a punch. And but it's good. I mean, I think it's some of the best close quarter stuff you're gonna get. You know, I mean, it's when you really. I mean, yes, the feeding is still a kind of a coordinated, choreographed effort. Yeah. But I think the IQ it's building for your hands is second to none possible. You know,
oh, absolutely. You're dealing with small box frames as it should be. I've always equated that Balintawak, especially through GM Bobby's approach, is the Wing Chun of FMA, where it is a mastery of the small space.
Yes.
Sorata can be argued with that, but I haven't trained a lot of Sorata. But in my case, in my experience with Balintawak, especially GM Bobby's expression of it, it is like the small space dynamics of Wing Chun has also intended with CMA. And also it helps that like GM Bobby, he's also a black belt in Shotokan Karate, so there's that small space. And also he's an old school boxer, so like, it's quite evident with his movement. So 100%. And again, he's just boxing you with a stick. So
100%, yeah. And I remember like seeing other Balintawak guys, and like I see the same material, but they don't move the same. Like you can see the mechanics are different. So Bobby definitely did his own thing with it, you know. Yeah. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So I think every FMA'er, I mean, even if you don't. And that's Bobby's mentality too, which I loved working with him. I mean, I don't want to say any names of other people I've worked with who are not nearly as big as Bobby's, but you know, before which I appreciate people like you, I've been able to get Senator Shawali a little bit in conversation in the FMA community. And for years it was not. It was not. And I have had a couple instances of people saying, well, you really did, Mike. How about you just switch styles and be certified under me? And there is that moment of, well, maybe it'll help. But then I'm like, ultimately I said, no, I'm like, I need to do what I do. I don't want to, I'm all for training with other styles, but I need to make sure that what I do first purely is seen before I do that. Yep. And what I really, really appreciated about GM Bobby is that, you know, I came over to his house and we had conversations and he told me his great stories. He never tried to recruit me. That was not his goal. You know, and it was all about just, you know, do what, you know, if you want to be certified in this, he said, yeah, I mean, I'd love to. Just, I don't ask anything. Just tell my story, you know, respect the art. But there was never a, hey, come here, you know, come on over here. It was never any of that. And so from that moment, like I trusted the guy, trusted him immediately, you know, and everybody does. Everybody does.
I love GM Bobby. He's such a community.
Oh, yeah. And what I love about that too, I mean, you know, we can talk about PTK there. We can write a book on that stuff. In Gia and Bobby's Balintawak, there's none of that. Nope. It's like it purifies itself because of who he is. You don't see that stuff. At least I don't. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you've experienced something different.
The leadership. So the culture of which you manage is contingent upon the leadership principles and execution and the tonality that the, I hate to say supreme leader, not using PTK, but to have the head of an organization to set the tone as to their expectations and execution and the tonality, again, leader's intent, utilizing military phrase here, of how they want things to run. So again, you have to lead by example. And you also have to hold a certain standard, more importantly, to yourself. That's that extreme accountability, to use a Jocko phrase. But you have to have that extreme accountability of yourself. Of what do I want to produce? And therefore, I have to walk the walk and then inspire people, not force them, but inspire them to follow along in that same mentality, because you have to have the respect of free will. But if you're also going to be part of my organization, there is that buy-in on both sides of I'm going to provide good leadership principles by being those good leadership principles and showing up and expressing them, but also teaching you those. Like, this is the boundaries, the expectation that I have of myself and of you. And if you're not going to buy into that social contract, well, kick rocks. Nice to have a day. So,
yeah. And I remember this is maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I went to I the first time meeting Bobby Tablata was at his house, and then June hit me up. There was a seminar in Springfield, Virginia, and so my girlfriend and I at the time went out there, and it was like in an event room in a hotel. So it was like my first really kind of event when I moved to the East Coast. So, you know, hung with June there.
June's cool.
Jack, if you're watching, met him as well. He's the DC FCS guy. So Mosey's cool. But it was just the energy there was all just good. Everybody was laid back. It was very much just friends hanging out. And all of these these very, very high level Bleak About guys all do other styles, you know, and so there was not one hint of cultish behavior, not one, you know. And then, like I said, you don't hear politics, you don't hear it, and it's just like you said, it starts from the top, and I think that's just it gives more praise and love to G and Bobby, you know, because that's where it comes from, you know. So I love it.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Again, the more of the reasons why we stay within the communities that we do is one, the culture. Regardless if it's a reconnection to our ethnic culture or a culture of just like shared mentality and belief systems. It's the culture that keeps us there and also encourages the growth. Because again, we've been part of toxic stuff and people and communities, and they self-select and self-regulate, and most of the time they just dissipate. Again, cultures of a cult, so that occurs. But if you have a healthy culture, people stick around. And again, it starts with the leadership and the example they set, and everybody falling in line with said example. So, because if we want to continue doing this stuff, we all have to get along. So,
yeah, you touched on a very good point before too, talking about, you know, us seeing FMA in movies. You know, it's almost like we're all siblings and we can't stand each other. Yeah. But like when we do see just the FMA entity promoted or seen, we're all about it. It's like when two siblings, they hate each other, but like someone picks on the little sibling, now the older sibling's mad. Well, no, that's my job, and they go to defend him. You know what I mean? It's a little. That's the best analogy I could think of. It's very much kind of like that. You know. I think at the end of the day, when we do see it represented, we're able to kind of put that down. You know, like not the bickering or the sibling rivalry, because that's what it is. That's what it is.
I mean, it's our thing. We can talk shit about our thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you can.
Yeah. Actually, talk about a film, and I hate to say like building off of the rivalry, but again, FMA history. I would love to see a movie or a series of a show series of talking about the origination of, say, like Doce Pares, and as we understand, Filipino martial arts as the last 100 years. So like seeing the transition of the Spanish to the Americans, leading into World War II, the occupation, and then the creation of Doce Pares, because you get to see like the old school rivalries where you had legitimate death matches between camps and groups, but you also saw them fight as insurgents against occupation by the Spanish, the Americans, and the Japanese, and then the creation of a nation state, with FMA as a hidden part of that storyline of like the mentality, the spirit of the rebel, and moving forward, because that would be a really cool story. Because as we've seen with like Shaw Brothers, like my kung fu is better than yours, and they fight and whatnot. But you see also with the colonial age, with say when the British show up, there is a bit of a unification. I mean, you saw it in the Ip Man movies, where there's a unification of styles to deal with the invader and see the progression and growth. I'm pretty sure FMA could do the same thing, because it's a cool story of again resistance, conflict, but also unification and evolution to elevate the community. So anybody out there who's a film person, yourself, there's an idea. Fucking do it.
Yeah, hit me up. I love to write. I mean, I'm with you on that. Like when I first did that, nosedive into the Filipino history. It's blockbuster movie after blockbuster movie. There is so much that can be made, because some of it almost sounds like a movie. You know what I mean? And so, no, I'm with you on that. So yeah, any other filmmakers, hit me up. I love to write. We have connections. We can make things happen, get it out there, and I think it'd be very well received, even for people who aren't in the FMA community, because they're just cool stories. Yeah, the Doce Pares Club story. I mean, even like a biopic about guys like Emil Giron or Ben Lima, or what these guys went through. Like, it almost doesn't sound real, but they did it. They actually did it, It is Estrisimo, that guy's story. The moral resistance of the Spanish-American War. There's just a lot of rich storytelling that can be told. So I'm with you on that, man. So I'll do what I can do.
All more the reason to have independent films within the FMA community to make this shit happen. So again, I'm grateful for people like you. I'm grateful for people like Isabella Mares who have led projects to get FMA to the forefront, and of course, like Yidre Yakitse as well. But like seeing FMAers come to the forefront as stunt people and producers and storytellers, we have great stories, so why not fucking tell them? So and on top of all, we're telling stories while hitting each other, so even better.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, it's a win-win. And yeah, I mean, the indie film scene has really, it's changed the industry. You know, I mean, and I remember when I first started getting into this, people were like, "Oh, go move to LA or go move to New York." You don't really have to. I mean, you don't really have to anymore. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I mean, I'm doing this now, and I do want this to be my job. I want to be able to support myself with my film someday. You know, I am making some money with it, but it's not a full-time job. And yes, there can be some advantage of living in a place where, you know, it's easier to drive down and go talk to a producer, like New York City or Atlanta or LA. But with that said, I mean, because of there's so many independent production companies, it's so much easier to make contact to fund things. You don't have to. I mean, everything's at our fingertips. Everything. You know, you can make a professionally edited movie with the laptop you can buy at Best Buy. It's all out there. You know, it's just about getting the people that have skills. And like a lot of the guys that I'm working with right now for this film, No Peace, they're all college graduates, Towson University, Johns Hopkins, and they're great film programs. So they know the skill set. They're just young. They're just young and not quite in the industry, but they know how to do the things at a professional level. And we have access to the professional equipment. So, I mean, the resources are there. I mean, if you got the idea, find websites like Backstage. Facebook is going to have a multitude of communities of filmmakers in your area who are just asking for people. You can get involved and just hold a light. You can hold a mic. You know, you can find local acting groups just to get involved with. It's all out there. You don't have to go to Universal. You don't have to go to Paramount. It's all there. And it's just, you know, what I love about it too, about smaller communities, and this is just my experience so far, it is one of the most ego-less, if that's a word, ego-less environments I have been in, which sounds kind of counterintuitive because you think on a film set, it's personality against personality. Maybe on a big level, what I've experienced, not at all, because we all just love it. We fucking love it. And, you know, you've got 20 people on a set that you have all on the same page. And sometimes we're not polite to each other because we're moving. Everything's on a schedule. So look, for example, like if you got a fight scene, we have 5 hours to film this and then that's it. This is the only time we have this set. So there's no time for niceties. There's no time for anything that can kind of get in the way. Trim the fat off of every human interaction. But we love it. We love it. And then every time that I've been on a set, I always meet somebody who was selflessly giving me advice or connections. And I mean every set I've been in, you know. My buddy Tyler that I mentioned before, who's going to be the first AD, you know, I've been doing some writing and I wrote a full-length script. And he's going to be able to get that in front of some people for me, you know. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that at all, you know. And then with that same script too, I got a buddy, same guy, Tyler, set the script to some buddies who are also professional screenwriters, who read it and then put some notes on it for me to get it better. Now I didn't pay for that. I didn't have to ask for that. And so far what I've seen, we all love it so much. We have such a passion to help grow. It is a community. That's a really fun environment to be in. It is stressful, but I mean, like, once again, anybody watching this who is thinking about getting into the industry, small scale is fun because everybody there, we're not looking to get rich. We're just having fun. And they are there to help you as long as you're there to help them. So it is a great community. So
yeah, honestly, the small feature film industry on YouTube, because like some of the greatest like stunt coordinated small films I've seen on YouTube. Because again, you have a stunt team of martial artists is like, I'm going to do a cosplay of, say, Batman versus whatever. And they do a fight scene. They tell a small story because the budget's really low. I mean, they can shoot it on an iPhone. They can do the editing on a computer at home. You have martial artists who just are martial artists and their costuming is inexpensive. So, and there are so many of these very entertaining small feature, little 30-minute clips, 30-minute short films, but they're just fun to watch. So, yeah. And on top of all that, like you can see the passion of their movement and also just hungry to do it. So, and in the ever-growing community or universe of like content consumption. Like you could watch cat videos all day, which is, I mean, we do, but you could also watch,
not gonna lie,
yeah, and you can also watch really cool martial arts films that is like, yeah, it's fun to watch. It's a story, it's excellent martial arts expression, and again, it's not doom scrolling. It's entertainment. It's good entertainment.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, in social media is a great example because that has actually affected the film industry. It really has. I mean, I think there are some martial artists that I follow or know of on social media. That's how they started. They were doing videos with their buddies from the same school, making fight scenes, and now they got stunt gigs. You know, like it makes a difference. And then I know sometimes in certain casting, even as an actor, they'll ask for your social media. They'll ask for it. They want to see what's out there. So it's, I mean, it's kind of I know it's kind of scary because it is a lot of exposure, but I mean, it is a bit of a golden era, you know, of information. I mean, you can make anything. It's just making the steps. And the same, like you said, for me, I mean, there was some, of course, nerves and imposter syndrome. Like, man, can I do this? And it's like, well, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just doing it. Am I terrified? Yes. Yes, I am.
I mean, you've got to be the man in the arena. I mean, Roosevelt said it best, be the man in the arena. So dealing with this situation, being and this is just life in general, the unsatisfied, untested, unblooded man, woman at the end of their day saying they lamenting over what they should have, could have, would have done. And they're just upset about the life that they didn't live. Like, well, you could have just gone and done the fucking thing and failed and just keep going at it because at least you tried and at least did the thing in the attempt. So, and on top of all, it's cool experiences. Again, the learning process is messy and full of failure, but it's cool experiences.
100%. And then talk about some doom scrolling, or like if anybody ever wants to like put some background noise on, if they're like folding laundry or something, look up Actors Roundtable on YouTube. You ever heard of that before?
No, I'm going to Google it right now.
Yeah, it's all like A-list actors, and they sit around for an hour and just talk about acting. They talk about their experiences and their upcoming. It's really kind of just, they're at a table, they got a drink, and they're just shooting the shit, right? Yeah. And what I found so beneficial from that is you're talking like Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, Shia LaBeouf, if I pronounced that right. Mark Ruffalo. We know of household names, right? Everybody that we know of household names. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in all of them. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in all of them of about 2-3 years. A story of about 2-3 years of getting told you're not good looking. Oh yeah. No, you getting told you're not good looking. They all have stories. You know, like they all have doing one after another after another, doing one after another after another, then finally getting some or getting some success, getting some success. And like, these guys, a lot of these guys are multiple Oscar winners, multiple Oscar. They still have the imposters. They still do. They still have the imposters. They still do. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like in all this page for if you're not an actor, still it's fun to watch. It's good to hear these guys kind of shoot the shit and they got funny stories. But it's like they're people, who just went through multiple really painful failures. They got told no 100 times before they ever got a yes. Yep. And it's just like that can be applied to anything in life for sure, But yeah, the film industry, I mean, even with the most successful people, it's mostly failure. It's mostly just failures. And so
I mean, I just watched a slew of Joe Rogan's podcasts he had Charlie Sheen on there, had Matthew McConaughey, and he just had Charlie what's his name? He is in Terminal List. What is it? Yeah, Terminal List. Dark Wolf. He played Mike Murphy, Taylor Kitsch, and listening to again their stories as to getting in the industry full of failure. I mean, Charlie Sheen's whole story about sobriety moving forward, and also his childhood being on movie sets in the Philippines. Like again, you get to hear these really cool human stories. And same with Taylor Kitsch with his issues with his sister's sobriety and the process of going through learning these characters and becoming these characters. And again, the imposter syndrome that he talks about, like he's around SEALs all the fucking time. And he's living up and being portraying a SEAL. So like he's got do his homework. And again, talking back circling back to our original premise of this episode about the authenticity of movement and holding to the standard and the honor that they were trying to portray as to these characters. The same is within the martial arts community. Being a martial arts actor, telling a story as a martial artist, you have the weight of the community of showing up and actually doing the thing and doing it well. Because again, you can see actors who are completely checked out, Iron Fist, and then you can also see the actors who really commit to the role, Keanu Reeves. So yeah,
I mean, and that's definitely something that I'm, I want to put that weight on my shoulders here. That's why, when I made that announcement video, the stunt part is going to be what I am going to spend the most time on, because I don't want it to fall short, and what can also become a bit of a complication, because I mentioned before, when you're shooting, you are on a schedule. And a lot of times, depending on how much free time or money you have, it could be like, I got these 2 hours and we either get it or we don't. And so, I've done a couple of scenes before, even as an actor, where I'm like, God, that sucked, but we ran at the time. And then you go home and you're just thinking about, I could have done better. And you don't want that to happen as much as possibly can, That's why I want to put as much time as possible. So I'm trying to get this done ASAP to start. I'm writing out fight scenes now. Because I don't want that to fall short. And we're not gonna. We're planning to film this probably in a matter of a few days because it's a short film. Fun comparison is the bathroom fight scene in Mission Impossible with Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise.
Great scene. Great scene.
That one scene took 4 weeks to film. 4 weeks. Now I don't have 4 weeks to film a fight scene. Now it looked fantastic. And so that's why, for me, I know that the worst thing that I can do is to have any lack of preparation for this. So that's why, anybody reaching out to me, please do. Even if you're not in the Maryland area, if you're an FMA-er, let me know. And, if a part that fits well, we do have a speaking role for one of the fight scenes. If it fits well for you, we'll fly you out, if we can audition for the role and see if it works for you. And that way we can start just getting as much possible prep time that we can. And then, like I said, while we're doing choreography, our director of photography is going to be there filming it. Because, like I said before, if the camera work is off, it's terrible. We've seen that before too, like some low budget movies where the actor is a martial artist, but the camera's kind of doing this and it's close and it's like, well, you couldn't even see what he just did. And so, that's why, like I said, I take notes from 90s Jackie Chan, very rhythmic, following the hands, all that stuff matters. And so there has to be a relationship too between the director of photography and the stunt guys, because you're doing the fight scenes. He's got to make it look good from the camera perspective.
Honestly, some of the best fight scenes that we've seen here recently, at least my opinion, again, going through the Marvel lane, is Netflix's Daredevil. A lot of those fight scenes, in the hallway, going down the stairs, they're all single take. So you actually get to see all the actors actually being fatigued. You get to see real damage. Bless their hearts for taking the damage for our entertainment. But still, and also you get the wide shot, the traveling shot. So it's not just focusing on one particular thing. So there's, like you said, something to be said about the wide panoramic view and actually seeing everything in the space. Because one, we want to see everything. It's fun.
Right.
So there's again, nerding out, FMA-Nerds, nerding out about films.
Go for it.
So here's another one too. Soundtracks are really important, and I don't know how much you guys want to deal with. I'm not giving notes, but things that rattle around my head, being a person who connects stuff. There is a very large Filipino music industry, ethnic industry, especially hip hop. And on top of all, they're Filipino martial arts practitioners. People like Talilo Marfil, who is a Lightning Arnis guy, so Sachi knows him very well. So he's a Filipino hip hop artist, martial artist himself. See who else? Moro Beats. They're in the Philippines. They're like the Wu-Tang of the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
See who else is out there. Ruby Ibarra. She's a phenomenal female rap hip hop artist. I don't know if she does FMA, but she's featured it in music videos. So I don't know if see that cross pollination of both if you want to talk about putting FMA in the forefront, part of putting FMA in the forefront is having the Filipino culture being featured. So I don't know if that's something you have any inclination to do. So
no, that I'm actually really glad you said that, because music is going to be a part of it for sure. We're going to have it scored, which we haven't really worked out yet. I have one buddy, a director that I worked with, who also has a production company. I kind of thought about him. I mean, I'm a musician too, so I thought of a couple of things that I may do, but what you just mentioned, I like that idea better. I mean, so I'd be more than happy to talk to those guys if I can.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you know, he wants to make a feature song for the movie, we'll put it in there, man. We'll put it in there. So,
yeah, Talilo he's a cool dude. He's really approachable, and he's just hungry to put out for the culture. So yeah, this would be really cool to see him or in any of the others. I know Talilo best out of all those three, because I've had many chats with him, and also I've had him on the podcast. Plus, again, Sachi Villarreal knows him really well because he's part of the Lightning Ardennes community.
Right. Yeah, Sachi's my bro too. We talk a lot, so I can hit him up as well. But no, I appreciate that. That's a great suggestion. I mean, I would love to do that. You know, kind of the idea is, you know, more of some, you know, ambiance kind of music, and then maybe even a feature song, which I'm down for. So yeah. It's a lot of moving parts, man. It's a lot of moving parts to a movie. So it's so many things. And I gotta list these things out. So like I said, the Indiegogo is going to launch soon. I also going to start doing casting. So put out auditions, table reads. It's a lot of stuff, but not complaining. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, when you get that Indiegogo going, give me all the data. I'll push it out on my network. And also, if you want to, we can just bring you back on. Just, hey, here's however long we want to do a podcast. Like, here's Indiegogo. Let's talk about the Indiegogo, because that is just helpful all the way around. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I can give you a couple details I know of, because each donation, the amount you donate will have certain perks. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you can give $1, I love you for that. Don't worry. I mean, anything is good. I will accept anything. 50 cents, I'll take it. But I mean, we'll do, like, there's certain perks. So like, if you do a certain amount, you get a producer credit or like a thanks. A certain amount will get like a T-shirt, because we'll make official merch, right? One level will be an I think the highest is like an executive producer credit. That's cool. Then maybe second highest or possibly highest is a set visit. You get to come and watch us film. So, you know, each one's going to be able to kind of have that kind of perk. So that's in the process of being made. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to come back on, and I'll be able to kind of have a list for you. I can even share my screen. Yeah. And I mean, we want as many people to be involved as possible. So, I mean, this I'm kind of seeing as a community-made movie. You know, yes, we've got a few people here kind of, you know, pulling the strings to make sure everything happens. But I mean, everybody watching, I need your help. I need as much help as I can get.
Well, again, I brought it up earlier, but the Range 15 movie, I mean, one, you can watch it on Amazon in all of its terrible glory, but there's also a documentary of it on YouTube of how they put it together. And again, the big part of it is they had a niche community, the veteran community, that stood behind them. And yeah, they showed up. So the FMA community needs to show up, and I'm pretty sure they will, for projects that features FMA. So more power to it, and definitely do it. And I'm happy to help with that. So yeah.
Gotcha, man.
Well, I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. And then I'm hoping too, I mean, this is still down the line because we're in pre-production. Filming, we're pretty sure is going to be in January. Okay. So in Baltimore, we're going to film it. And then I'd love to have it. What's up?
That's cold.
Oh, it's going to be cold. We're going to be getting hit with sticks in the cold. It's going to suck, but it's okay. It's okay. It's what I signed up for. So fortunately, all the fight scenes are indoors, so we're good.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and then I mean, even down the road, I mean, I know that this is further down the road, but we'll do a premiere, which I'd love to do, a possible premiere. And then I have I got possible connections to where we can actually show it in a theater, which would be fun. You know, run out the theater, and then I know it's a little bit of a flight for you, but if we can have you out, or at least get you out here, or maybe even just virtually, we'll do something. So we'll be able to make an event of it, you know. So
I mean, I'm more than happy to come out and play. I just got to time it and budget it, just like everything else. Because like Lex and everybody else is trying to get me to come to the East Coast for Wego Dodo, so trying to make that happen. I just gotta, again, time and effort. I get invited to a bunch of stuff, and I would love to go to all the things. Just trying to figure out the budget and the time to do so is like everybody else. You would think in my retirement days I'd be able to like do all the things. That's not the case.
No. Time and money, man. The older you get, time and money just gets harder. just being able to manage, but both are currencies, time and money, both currencies.
Yeah,
And
but I would love to come out. I would love to.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, and when you come out for Fuego Todo, I'll be there. So we'll be able to meet in person. And but yeah, I'll keep you posted on any details. And then as far as Indiegogo, like I said, official launch is the 1st. And then yeah, you want to have me back on, man? I'd love that. And we'll talk about some details. So.
Like I said, you're always welcome on here. I really enjoy chatting with you. And on top of all that, I love your Instagram because you have all sorts of fun things on here. So I'm gonna bring that back up for people to take a look at. Let's see. Social media stuff, talking about that. Let's see. Here we go. Instagram. Here's your Instagram. I don't know if people can see that, but you'll definitely see it in big ass sticks because I'll have stuff on there. You got your music, you got your call to action, you got you swinging some big ass sticks.
Yep.
Cat,
my new cat.
Gotta have a cat. Not a proper FMA without a cat. Got balls on a weightlifting thing.
So what that? Scroll up to that. Let me talk about that. So I was doing pulls, right?
Yeah.
I guess my ass cheeks made those prints.
Nice.
Well, thought it was worthy to post. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, people come check out your Instagram. Check out your Instagram. You have a YouTube channel, correct?
I'll be honest. I need to get on that because I haven't touched it in a while, but I do. It's Masguru Mike, so MASGURU Mike.
All right.
I haven't touched it in a very long time though.
So.
Gotcha. And also anybody watching, so the film does have. I just built an Instagram for it. It's no piece film, so no _piece_film. So if you want to follow that, I will be posting a lot more stuff on there, more information, updates, things like that.
Yeah. Anything you want to leave with the audience as to a pearl of wisdom or a joke or whatnot?
Pearl of wisdom or joke? Whew. It's a lot there. Oh man, what can I say without sounding preachy over here? I don't know. I
don't care. Just throw it out there. It's your floor to sit there and mop with. So go for it.
I think I said this on our first podcast before, but martial arts. I do kind of sometimes dissect that word, martial arts, which is good to create. Something that my teacher Greg Alland always said too. Is he says, if you follow the system to a T, it will only take you so far. And there has to be a level you hit where you have to recreate it yourself because you are your own person, not necessarily how you're built or how you move, but where you come from and how you think, who your parents were, what your culture is. And, it does have to become literally your own art. So the greatest teacher you will ever have is yourself. And I think it's very important to be able to learn how to think in the martial art that you do. I do think that FMA is very much a language. So we think in language, we think in thoughts. So once you know what you're trying to do, which I think is very important techniques too, you'll be able to start to guide yourself. So, I mean, my power generation that we've been discussing, to be honest, a lot of that was never taught to me. That's a lot of stuff that I just figured out. I had a problem and I had to solve the problem. I'll be honest, I had fear. I had fear that I might, if I had to do this, would I stop somebody with my hit? Well, I don't know. Well, then I had to answer that question. So when you learn to be your own teacher, your questions to yourself get better, and you'll be able to kind of work on those details. And so, yeah, learn to be your own teacher. Learn to find out how you do things. It's always good to get inspiration from other people. I do it all the time, whether GM Tabata or Sachi. I love Sachi's power too, and guitar players. I geek out about a lot of guitar players I watch, and I'll kind of steal things from there too. But I know this sounds so typical as far as be yourself. We all hear that all the time. But I mean, that's a saying, but you have to learn how to make it a practice. And a lot of that is just, take what you have and see how else you can do it, how you can recreate it. Figure out how you move. If a certain move is not working well for you, can you modify it? That's why a lot of what I do, you're going to see pretty much PTK material, but it's always very kind of vindicating when I have some more old school guys look at me and say, that's not PTK. I said, I know. It's like, what's that for? Where'd you get that? That's not from PTK, even though you're doing PTK stuff with the stick. So yes, learn to teach yourself. Learn to be able to dissect what you have based on who you are And you're going to do all that through practice, whether mental practice, moving the stick, learn to listen to yourself. You know, as a lot of Eastern philosophy teaches you, learn to get out of your own way. You know, that's, you know, you look at a lot of Eastern practices, they talk about levitation. Well, levitation, they don't mean literally. They don't mean it literally. You know, some people did take it literally to levitate while they're doing this. The whole point of levitation is learning to get out of your own damn way, you know, because we all, as people, are in our own way all the damn time with our own thoughts, how we think about things, our own paradigm. Well, this guy does it this way. This is what my instructor says, which you should respect your instructor. But you got to learn to be able to kind of push some of that stuff away if you can, and just dig through the dirt and be yourself. But it is a practice, which means you got to do it every day. And it's not always glorious. It's not this. It's this the top, you know, like anything else. And so, yeah, I guess that's my nugget of wisdom. You know, learn to be the best teacher you'll ever have, which is yourself. So
Awesome. I mean, to use a phrase from Dzicek, which you got from GM Remy Presas, make it your own.
There it is, which is so simple but yet so profound. And that's, I guess, yeah, my point there is that, you know, we know that, but people need to work on how to do that. You know what I mean? Like, some people try, but they're not very good at how to be themselves. And literally being yourself is a practice. You gotta work on it, you know? So
awesome. Well, actually, let's do two more, because I'm going to start a new thing. For the next guest that I have on here, what would be a question that you would ask them? I don't know who it's going to be, but a question that you would ask my next guest.
Kind of based on what we just talked about. What is it about how you move that is yours? What movement that you do is your movement? Not what this guy did or this guy showed you. Even though you're doing their techniques, what would you say about your movement is completely from you, from here? Not from here, not from here, but from here.
That's awesome. All right. And last question, who would you if you had two choices, who would you recommend coming on next?
Ooh, let's see.
Aside from Brian, because I'm going to have him on here, I'm going to reach out to him here soon. But aside from Brian here in the comments section, because Brian, you're coming on here, just so you know. So,
how about Zack Snyder? He's an Inosanto guy. You know that?
Really?
Yeah. No, that might be kind of hard to get. I don't know.
I mean, if he's down, I'm down. So let's make
it. I think, when I first moved to Maryland, there was a school that I was teaching at. Their jiu-jitsu instructor was actually an Inosanto guy.
Oh.
Eric Holland, if you see that, that's him. He's a cool guy.
Okay.
And knew all the 8711 guys because he was military, was stationed in California. So like all the guys that John Wick kills in the first scene in the first movie, he actually knows all those guys by first name.
Sweet.
But he told me, because I guess there's a lot of celebrities or a lot of pretty big name people who would kind of come in and work with an Inosanto. Like they wouldn't announce it, but anyway, supposedly Zack Snyder is an Inosanto guy. But that might be a bit of a stretch. Let me see. I know you had Sachi on here before.
Sachi and I are actually related. We're like really, really, really distant cousins.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really? Nice. Okay. Sachi's cool. Yeah, Sachi's my bro.
Secondary commentary that we run into with the FMA community, because even within the FMA community, you can see people who move really well and those who just don't. I have been argued that sometimes I don't move really well because, I just don't, because we all have our off days, and some days maybe. But here we're talking about moving with intent and the being dynamic in what you do, because even if you're just playing and practice, you can still be dynamic. And as exhibitionists, because FMAers are a bit of an exhibitionist, you got to sell the movement instead of being checked out. So like some social media literacy for people who are content creators, if you're going to put something out, one, follow by the rules of inspire, entertain, and educate. And if you're going to put something out, I mean, if you are going to put something out, good on you for being brave and courageous in that. But still, if you're going to put something out, make sure it looks good, even though it might be silly. Because like in my case, I have rubber chickens for every fucking thing. But still, it's still got to follow those three rules of entertaining, educational, or inspiring. So doing stuff with intent, be intentional with your movement and your social media. So, as again, there's a lot of shit that's out there. Some of it is mine, but putting something good and cool out there, yeah, definitely do it. Because when we talk about like entertainment, we want to be entertaining. So, anyways, so what you got?
Yeah, so don't know why I haven't thought of this before. The guy's name is Paulo Albuquerque.
Okay.
All right. Now he is also Masguru, and he is in Brazil. So one of the biggest Kali presences in Brazil was made by Greg, my teacher.
Oh.
So Paulo was his first contact. He might be watching this too. He might know, but there are some other guys, you know, who are pretty much Greg kind of gave a blessing for them to kind of have a Senator Chihuahua thing too, which is a pretty good presence. So they produced a lot of instructors who are kind of doing their thing out in Brazil, so Rio and Sao Paulo. But Paulo was the guy who started it. Had Greg out for, I mean, like, I think 20, 30 years. And yeah, great guy. He and I stay in contact. He's got, like I said, a lot of his other master instructors. You know, we follow each other on social media. We've been planning to get together for a very long time. It just, you know, it never really happened. When Greg, this is right before Greg started getting real sick because he had Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
And his plan was when I was made Mas Guru with the title. This is what Greg did, which I loved about it. Is anytime he had a good student, he wanted to fly around and show the student off. That was what he wanted to do. Sweet. If anybody took his stick, he wanted to brag about it. Meet this guy who took my stick from me. So Greg was planning to fly me out to Brazil to meet all the guys, but he got sick. It never really happened. But anyway, good group of guys. They put in a lot of work. They call their organization Combato. So it's kind of a conglomerate. They do a lot of other styles. But they have done a pretty good job of keeping and being outspoken about Senator Chihuahua. But Paulo's good. Like I said, he's the guy, and I've known him for years, and he might be a good conversation because one of a very massive presence of FMA in Brazil is from him. So, yeah,
definitely make the connection. I would love to have him on here.
Yeah,
and person number 2. Since we're on that track, who would you recommend?
Oh, I have to have 2?
Yeah. I said 2.
My bad.
If you don't have 2, that's fine. I can find somebody, but
that's okay. I was thinking so hard of just one. There's a guy. Let me ask him first. His name is Paul Ledney. Paul Ledney doesn't do any social media or anything, but reached out to me maybe like a year ago. Was one of Greg's students back in the early 90s. Worked with Leo, worked with Nene, worked with Joffrey. So he was kind of there for a lot of the early times. So let me ask him. So that's kind of more a reserved one because he doesn't do any social media, but older guy, saw a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff that's all stories now, he was there for. So I would say him, and then you know who else would be good? Do you know who Naji is? Master Naji?
No,
okay.
I don't.
I'm going to pull this up real quick. He'd be good. I don't know if you guys can see that at all. Naji Hassan. So I saw him some random video on Facebook. He's out in Astoria, New York, and I saw him move, and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's good. And I saw that he had some of the old school stuff, so I reached out to him on Facebook. Same thing. He was like 14, 15, started under Chris Syock back in the days. Met Leo.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, this is back when Chris Syock was the protege of Leo's, right? Back before the break, you know. But knew Greg, you know, Greg was a senior to him back in the day, and Greg praised him. So he and I were able to kind of meet and shake hands and talk about it, but he was there for a lot of the beginning too. Dangerous man, very skilled. It takes a lot for me to look at a guy and go, oh shit. He's one of those guys. But you know, he's certified in SIOC, has the old school Petiti Tertia. He's been doing it for a very, very long time. You see that a lot in New York City because it's a massive city. But it's never necessarily rivalries, but a lot of the FMA groups will not necessarily commingle. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's part of the culture, I guess, you know.
It's like it's people in your backyard because it's the same thing on the West Coast, specifically in LA, in Stockton. But like you go up to the PNW, everybody's working with everybody. So
Nice.
but then again, up in the PNW, the majority of the people up there are offshoots from GM Bobby as it is anyways. So
Yeah. But like here in the Maryland, like the DMV area, like DC, Maryland, Virginia, we're all cool. We all commingle. We meet at every event. But yeah, in New York, I mean, I have some other FMA contacts up there, old school Paquita Tertia guys. It's never like any rivalry. They just don't commingle. But anyway, that's better. I would say Paolo and then Master Naji. They'd be good to talk to. So.
Cool. Well, I mean, if you want to make those initial connections for me, that'd be great. I would love to have them on because as much as, I mean, talking FMA nerd, yes, that's part of it, of this show. But the other part about this is documenting people's stories because I love human stories as it is anyways. Because FMA, if you're an FMA, you should know FMA and FMA history. What we don't know is the people who make up FMA, especially those who are in it now. And they're the interesting parts of FMA because FMA is just going to be FMA. The people is what makes it move forward in the efforts that they're doing. And so giving the opportunity to one, tell their story, document it for the future, and also just my grand appreciation for people just putting up with my nonsense. Yeah, I'm more than happy to share their story because I'm learning stuff as it is anyway. So hopefully everybody else also learns something from these conversations. So.
No, I'm sure they are, man. You got a great podcast. Nice. I'll support what you do. I love what you do. You're my brother. You will be forever. I appreciate you. Appreciate your helping me out. But no, we need things like this. And you're doing a good part to the community because it is just, I mean, with the FMA being such a family oriented style anyway, like this is almost like how it should be discussed, just sitting down, shooting the shit. Because that's how we learned too. That's how they did it back in the day. And it fits very much into what the culture is. So it's perfect.
It's the whole touching hands and share and breaking bread because the best parts of any seminar is not necessarily getting beat up by the old men. It's having dinner or lunch there afterwards and having the stories around the table. Because again, if you know, you know. So
100%. I agree.
Well, cool. Like I said, we've been actually it's almost 2 hours. But I love having you on here. I love everything that you do. And let's do this again, especially when we got the Indiegogo. And I'm going to drop you back down and I'll say my goodbyes and just hang out in the lobby real quick. And cool. All righty.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. 2 hours, great conversation, somewhat focused. Normally I'm pretty scatterbrains about this because I never really have a plan, but I actually had a plan this time. So huzzah. I'm in between stuff when it comes to podcasts because it's just time and effort otherwise. But if you want to be on the show, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to have you on here. If you have somebody that you would recommend, same thing. Reach out to me. I'd love to have you on here. I don't really have anything announcement wise. Yeah. Anyways, so everybody have a wonderful day. No long goodbye. And I'm going to hit some buttons because, bye, everybody.